I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to actually answer it, like right when I ask it. A bear with 3 legs or a gorilla with 1 arm. Who's winning in a fight? Two marauders, two kings of the animal kingdom. But if they go against each other and they're handicapped in some way, how do we really assess who the better fighter is now? Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab Dvalishvili, this fight was rushed. I really believe it was rushed for multiple reasons. One reason being that in Umar's case, Umar knows that if he doesn't take this shot or this chance at Merab, he'll never get a title shot. Which is why he did have the arm fracture that I'm going to talk about first. I'll actually talk about that first, his arm fracture, that the UFC, they were interviewing him. They talked about his arm fracture. He didn't answer it very well. So, and then Umar's management and his team made the UFC private that video that I still have up my channel right here because thank God I made a reaction to it. I'm the only one with footage of this interview at this point on YouTube, which is crazy. But that's why Umar felt like he had to take this fight despite his arm fracture, because if he misses his opportunity, dude, Merab's going to move on. Let's be real. Merab didn't want this fight. The UFC wanted this fight. When Jones didn't want to fight Aspinall, I was like, yeah, I'd rather fight Stipe. He's better. They gave him that cookie. When Pereira was like, yeah, I'd rather fight Khalil Roundtree, even though he just got popped for steroids, I just feel like he's a harder fight for me. They said, okay, you don't got to fight Ankalaev. Merab was like, yeah, I think I'm going to wait for Sugar to come back for his. No, you ain't doing shit. Dana said you ain't doing shit. Who the hell do you think you are trying to say you gonna not fight the number 1 contender? So listen, unfortunately for Merab, I feel bad for the dude, but like he doesn't get that privilege where like you're allowed to duck because he's not a fan favorite, and I think Dana was still salty how he did Sugar Sean O'Malley. Point being said, if Umar didn't take this fight, Merab would have definitely waited, fought Sugar or fought Jan. You know how Merab would have done. We've seen how Merab acted. However, that's why Umar took it. Now, why did Merab take it? Merab, like, people forgetting something that maybe I'm one of the few people who know. Merab wasn't 100%. Like, I remember there was a time he did want to fight Sugar before the end of 2024, just because, I forgot, he made an excuse for it. He's like, I was only going to do that because something about Sugar deserves it or something. Sugar didn't deserve it. But after the Sugar fight fell apart, he was like, never mind, I'm going to fight Ramadan next year. Like, unironically. And then when he said that, though, the thing about that, he said he'll fight Ramadan knowing that Umar would not be able to fight Ramadan, or he's going to wait till April or wait late to fight Sugar or something like that, because he knew that he didn't want to fight Umar. Umar took the fight because he knows it's a missed opportunity if he doesn't. In contrast, Merab took the fight because the UFC kind of forced him to. However, I feel like it's rushed because on both point of views, both guys are injured. Both guys are injured. First of all, let me just show you guys, if you don't remember, let me point to how Umar's injured and how he admitted he was injured. It was public information. He already had an arm fracture prior to the fight, and he said he wasn't going to be able to fight in January, but he had like a little switch up. And the switch up wasn't because he got healthy. It was because he knew he couldn't miss this opportunity. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean right here.
Fight gonna happen.
I'm getting hyped.
Not that long ago, you wrote that you had a small injury on your arm, so you wouldn't be able to fight in January.
This is true. He had a small injury in his arm, so he said he wasn't going to be able to fight in January. You know what I'm saying? There's even a point Umar was like kind of accepting fighting after Ramadan. But look at his response here. This is important here. And ignore my voice because I'm in the background of this because this is a video for me.
I was in Dagestan. I punched my arm, I go to the show doctor and I show them like they not MRI, like other, like when they check bone.
Yep, X-ray.
How is
X-ray?
X-ray, yes. They did X-ray and they said you broke, After that, after 20 days, I go again. Even when I was broken, I was running. I want to still in shape.
Yeah, you were still running, training, cool.
To be in shape, and after 20 days, I go again, and it's become much better.
I want to preface that. I want to highlight that. He said, I did all this training. I was still training this, that, and the third. I came back 20 days later, and it was better. It was better. Notice how he didn't say nothing about, I came back 20 days later and now I'm ready to go. They said I'm cleared to fight. There was no clearance of fighting there. There was no, he's ready to fight now. There was no this. And you're even going to see as I play this interview further, he says how his team, his management was like, no way you can go out there and fight. And I want to highlight how Umar was responding to his teammates like Habib and all these guys saying he shouldn't fight. Look what he was saying to them.
I called my manager, Ali, and I said to him, hey, I want to fight. He said, but we said we're injured. I said, hey, I told you, take this fight. But I told. And my manager and my brother said, hey, you crazy, you can't fight like that. And they said no, And they asked.
So as you can see, people are like, dude, I hear the narrative that Dagestani's never fight injured or whatever. Well, That's a stupid narrative, but if this is a narrative, clearly Umar is trying to break the narrative. I do feel like his team was trying to protect him here. I feel like his team was like, we want you at your best to fight against someone like Merab Dvalishvili because Merab's not an easy fight. So his team was advising him. So I've seen people like, Khabib would never let Umar fight hurt. No way Umar's hurt. Umar is hurt. It's just that he's trusting himself more than anyone, and he wants to go in there and try to prove, which is dangerous against Merab. But I'm going to get into why I feel as Merab's injured later in this video. But I do think it's risky. I think Umar kind of understands it's risky, but he believes in himself, and he's confident enough to go in there despite this arm fracture.
Again,
What?
They called me again, will you fight with Merab? Of course, I already asked to Ali, please make it fight anytime. I want to fight before Ramadan. If Merab will fight in March, in Ramadan, I want to be active.
So that was his response there. He's pretty much saying, yeah, I just want to be active. So I'm going to take that challenge. I'm going to take that fight, although I'm hurt. As you can see, the UFC was kind of pushing for this fight too, which just goes back to the narrative that Merab, like the UFC was kind of forcing Merab to fight. Oh yeah, Merab stormed the office. All that was bullshit. The UFC called him Merab, and they were like, oh, because you and Umar, how's that sound? And then they contacted Umar. After they contacted Umar multiple times. The first time they contacted him, like his team and everything was kind of saying, no, it's not worth it. Umar's hurt. They contacted Umar one more time, and Umar's like, are you kidding me? Just take the fight. And then, you know, the management bend the knee. They let Umar get his way. Now Umar's getting the fight while injured. Now you guys are probably like, okay, this is risky, dude. He is injured, you're right, but now it's risky. How is Umar going to win? I want to point to this Ariel Helwani interview with Merab. This was 6 weeks. This is not 6 weeks ago. It was 3 weeks ago when this interview happened. And I want to show you guys that, yeah, Umar's not healthy, but neither is Merab. And I'm going to explain why, because what he said in this interview.
Islam, and I step up. I'm a company man, and I go office, and yes, I said, okay.
Well, he's pretty much saying he said okay to when the UFC asked him to fight because he didn't storm no office. He was called in by the UFC about Umar questions. We want to fight Umar, and his response was okay.
Step up. I'm a company man, and I go office, and yes, I said, okay. You know, I step up, and I said, okay, I'm just tired. And then, okay, we can fight. Even though I was coming from injury, I was taking antibiotics, whatever. And
what? 3 weeks ago, by the way, chat. So he was like, I said, okay. You know, I said, okay. Even though I was, you know, going through injury, I was very tired. I was taking antibiotics, which deteriorates the gas tank, as people know. Yeah, so this is why I feel like it's rushed. So after Merab decided that Sugar was not going to fight him in the end of 2024, that's when he made the knowledge he's going to fight March or later, which is Ramadan or after. That's when Merab made that choice. However, the UFC called him into the office and was like, yo, Merab, I really feel like you should fight Umar. And then Merab was, you could tell by this the way he's answering these questions, he was definitely hesitant, but like he was like, okay, cool. And then Dana White, when he advertised it, Merab stormed my office and he said he wants Umar. He's done with him talking shit. All this BS. But truth of the matter is, Merab was hurt. He was recovering. He was injured. This was 3 weeks ago when he said this interview wasn't like as recent as the Umar one. But the point being said is that this is just a rush fight. It's almost like they're both in my opinion, the two best bantamweights in the world. And they're both going to be fighting not at 100%, like in my opinion. Like I feel like, of course, Umar, we know Umar's not 100%. And we look at Merab and we see that we know he's not 100% either. And we can see the visible frustration of Merab. I think what's making Merab mad, we think it's just because, oh, he doesn't think Umar deserves it. That's probably part of the reason why. Does Umar deserve it? Yes, let's be real. But it's because Umar didn't have a long run to the title like Merab did. And it's also probably because Merab understands that he's not 100%, but the UFC kind of guilt tripped him into taking the fight. And I guarantee the UFC threw a shitload of money in Merab's face. He's like, you're going to fight him, all right? And then it was what it was. Dale, you know what I'm saying? Now the fight's happening. But it's weird because I'm not a fan of fighters fighting when they're not at their best. I know a lot of fighters are never 100%, but this fight, is it just me who feels like this is just rushed? Does it not feel rushed? Because Umar isn't recovered in time, but he said he wasn't going to fight January at first, but now he suddenly wants to fight in January because he knows this is his 8 Mile moment. This is literally his one shot, and he knows this because he knows Merab does not want that fight. And on the other hand, Merab, I don't know if you can even say this is rushed for Merab, but Merab wanted to be there, like have that championship treatment where he wins the belt, you know, goes to his country, you know, has a little fun, has some months off. He didn't get that treatment either. Honestly think if he waited till March, it'd be a little bit pushing it because I feel like he was ducking Umar, but just to Merab, it's kind of unfair in the sense that he wanted that championship treatment and we're like, oh yeah, I could take some time off, but now the UFC's pushing me and saying this, that, and the third, and I have to fight Umar in January. So both guys who are very talented people aren't going to be 100% in this fight. And I know the UFC deleted Umar's thing. I know I've seen people comment on some of my tweets saying that they feel like the fight's in jeopardy of being stopped. And since they deleted the Umar video, I just think they deleted the Umar video just because it was just a bad look for Umar, because he kind of exposed that and made it like evident that he was never officially cleared by the doctor, and the doctor didn't recommend him to fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like they deleted it. If the fight was off, they probably would have deleted the Merab interview. Point being said, like, is the fight in jeopardy? I don't know. Probably. Like, it might, because like I don't understand why it feels so rushed. But the fact that they're already a co-main, people buying tickets there, I feel like they're gonna both have to tough through it. But my whole thing is like, already like this is damn near a 50-50 fight already. Now we know like both guys are like going through injuries and struggling, and like on top of that, it just feels a rush. Like, you can't really rush a fight at this magnitude. It's almost like for in Umar's case, he just knows this is one chance at a title, or for like not his one chance at a title. Umar would inevitably get to the title, but I think Umar felt as if like, I don't want to wait around. I want to be active, and I don't want to let Merab take a time and then fight Sugar. Because think about it, if Umar waits and then Ramadan hits and then like April comes and then Merab decides to fight Sugar in April, Umar's gonna have to fight another guy, and then he's gonna have to wait probably till the end of the year, if lucky, or maybe start of next year to get a title shot. So Umar saw this and he was like, you know what, this is my only shot. Merab, like, this is like, it's less rush for Merab because he did have some time off since his last fight. I don't know who they both like. He fought Umar fought Corey pretty recently, and Merab fought Sugar. I think Corey and Umar fight was more recent though. So Umar does want to stay active. Merab had some time off already, but he wants that championship treatment. It's just that, like, I'm not a fan of fighters just fighting when they're not 100%. But that being said, still a close fight. I feel like Umar's injury was more fresh because that happened during like a fight camp after, or during training after the Corey Sandhagen fight. He did go on the Corey fight with an injury as well, but it was just even worse. I'm just thinking about it. Umar's just accumulating injuries, and he's still so young. I just feel like it's a little risky for Umar. I feel like it's more risky for Umar than Merab. Like Merab, the pain he was talking about, seemed to be like the injuries seemed to be from like the Sugar fight, from what I remember. He didn't say nothing about training. So it's like two guys going in the cage injured, injured kings of the bantamweight division, and may the best injured man win. At the end of the day, is the best injured man gonna win, and we'll see, brother. Like I said, it's such a 50-50 fight. All this stuff, everything being considered, though, I still think Umar could do it. But I'm telling you, if Umar goes in there and he ends up breaking his arm in one punch or something, it's not going to just be his striking that's affected. It's his wrestling, it's his grappling, it's everything. When you can't throw a single strike, it's going to affect everything. Like, if you can't use an arm, brother, it's just that much harder to win a fight. It really makes the difference. And I know Merab, and that will play to Merab's game plan of just being able to smother Umar, because Umar won't be able to push off the fence and try to get free because one arm's going to be severely compromised. So, I don't know to the extent, because what Merab did a good job in this interview was saying was like, he didn't elaborate on injuries. He just said, yeah, I'm injured, I'm taking antibiotics, I'm struggling, I'm tired. But he never elaborated. We know Umar's injury is an arm fracture. I'm sure Merab's team's gonna invest in that, probably do something. they'll probably throw body kicks just to hit the arm. Like when Umar has a guard up, they'll probably just start throwing head kicks to kick the arm. They're gonna have a game plan device to affect that arm fracture. But we'll see how this fight goes. Like I said, 50-50 fight with 50-50 injuries, with 50-50 everything. The only thing not 50-50 is the mentality. I feel like Umar's a little bit more locked in than Merab. Merab's a little bit frustrated and flustered. But let me know what you guys think about this, bro. I feel like the fight's still gonna be a banger, but it's just unfortunate that this is the scenario and situation we're living in. But that's it for me. Hope y'all enjoyed, and God bless. 2, 3, 4.